life lessons, character development, character arcs, 4D chess, intricate plans, an expanding cast. Tomozaki has it all. Season 2 is out and is somehow even better than the first. Unlike my video on Season 1, I'm going to get into spoilers because that's the only way I can convey just how spectacular it was. There was so much I wanted to talk about, but I had to simplify it, otherwise I'd just be recapping the entire season. Tama, Izumi, Kikuchi, Mizusawa, Take, and Konno all didn't do much in the first season. Tama and Izumi looked like they would be mainer thanks to the opening and ending, but they weren't. The season fixes that, because all of these characters become much more important and get the spotlight put on them. Apart from the spotlight, the story dives deeper into the characters. If you've seen my character chart, you know that values is one of my criteria. I described it as making difficult decisions that show you what the character values through what they sacrifice. While the values shown in this season aren't that dramatic, the characters are given specific values that dictate the actions they take in the story and allow for them to be manipulated or changed for the better. This is reminiscent of Death Note in a way. Characters are like CPUs in a game designed to value specific things and avoid things. Quick example, Light values fixing the world, but it will never come at the cost of his own life and freedom because he values being the god of the new world more. Back to Tomozaki. The first character is Erika Konno. As part of Tomozaki's first mission, he collects information on Konno's psyche. The 5 specific values that are gathered are that she's interested in baseball, she only wants to do low effort, high reward things, she doesn't want to be looked down upon, she sees Aoi as a rival, and she likes Nakamura. Later in episode 4, it's added that she's able to be compassionate to her friends, meaning that she values her friendships. All of these details are relevant to the plot, they aren't just dumped in a boring exposition. This creates a very round and psychologically complex character whose actions are predictable in a good way. Even the way she vents is connected to her values. She doesn't want to be looked down upon, so instead of bullying the friend who stole her crush, which would be obvious to her classmates, she bullies someone else who she picked on earlier. And then her switching to bullying Tama could be explained by the fact that the latter called her out and she didn't want to look weak by backing down. Izumi's main value in this season is that she likes to help people even if it comes at her detriment. This is first shown when she takes over the captain role for someone else who was forced into it due to her rejecting Konno's suggestion. In episode 3, Kikuchi specifically says Izumi puts others before herself and tends to be on the losing side because of it, and that she feels others' pain as if they were her own. The 2 other friends in Konno's posse are also broken down by Kikuchi. She says that they both have little confidence and use confident friends like Konno to fill that void in themselves. That's deep. Their primary value is having a confident friend. Tama, who becomes the focus of the second half, has values and character arcs, which is also on my character chart. She values not bending to others' wills, which, combined with her value for doing what's right, is what caused her to attract Konno's bullying. Another important value is that she doesn't value her classmates, except for her friends. She takes no interest in their lives and can't even remember some of their names. This was in episode 3, but it was foreshadowed before when Mizusawa asked if there was anything she wanted to know about him, and she said no. This is part of the reason she doesn't get along with them and why the class doesn't take her side. Her character arc starts when she realizes how her bluntness makes her sound harsh. Her arc is going from believing that she's fine the way she is, to believing that she needs to change in order to become a better person and gain the favor of the class. This starts with her making her speech friendlier through practice. It continues when she learns to genuinely take an interest in her classmates' lives. Mizusawa's psyche is explored as well. While he felt bad for Tama, he explains that his allegiance to one of his friends prevented him from publicly siding with her. That shows that he values his alliances first and foremost. He eventually helps the group, but only in private so that he won't get caught up in the drama. This shows that he values justice, but not at the cost of his alliances. Another major value of his is getting Aoi to like him, and this is explored well too. He admits that the only reason he entered Tomo and Tama's training session was because he hoped Aoi would be there. And then in the second arc, he goes to flirt with girls because if he increases the amount of women that he can attract, that will make Aoi more attracted to him. In this season, Aoi values Tama staying the same. She's vehemently against Tomo's suggestion of getting Tama to change, but allows him to go ahead with it since Tama actually wants to change. She also values justice by any means necessary. This is displayed by the diabolical scheme she concocted. She took advantage of Konno's values, her friends, her crush, and not being looked down on, and used them against her, causing her to have a meltdown in the middle of class. After everything is resolved, she justified her actions and showed no remorse in episode 6. This reinforced the different worldviews of Tomo and Aoi. It seems like Tomo believes in doing what's right no matter what, while Aoi believes the ends justify the means. Aoi also seems to value her privacy to a suspicious degree. In the second arc, when Kikuchi interviews Aoi to find out more about her on a deeper level, she lies her way through it and gives them nothing. This forces Tomo and Kikuchi to interview her former classmates, who reveal that she has sisters that she never talks about. In the second arc of the season, Kikuchi gets an arc where she tries to change herself to fit the world's ideal. This differs from Tomo and Tama because they changed themselves to fit their own ideal. They used their own perspective, but Kikuchi looked at the world's perspective and changed herself to how the world needed her, or at least how she thought the world needed her. This also reflected in her edits to her story. Ultimately, Tomo is able to convince her that she doesn't need to change and fit in because she can fit in with people like her, people who have similar interests. This shows nuance in the author's writing because it is the opposite of Tomo and Tama. Not everyone needs to change and fit in. plot in this season is amazing. At every point in the story, there is a clear, active goal that the characters are moving towards. Earlier, I was talking about Konno's key values. The reason is because part of the plot in the first arc is to find a way to get Konno to try in a sports festival. In order to do this, Tomozaki went around gathering information from classmates and friends. A different person gave him a different piece of the puzzle, and like the show said, it felt like a game. Izumi, a friend, said Konno was interested in baseball. Gumi, an also lazy person, said Konno was high effort, low reward. Kikuchi was good at reading people and theorized that Konno didn't want to be looked down upon. Mimi said that Konno saw Aoi as a rival. And Mizu said that Konno liked Nakamura. This was a great use of the supporting cast. Who gave what information was perfect based on what we know about them. All of this led to a grand plan by Tomo. In the second half of this arc, Tomozaki makes it his mission to create an atmosphere that will make the class take Tama's side against Konno's bullying. The way things come together is brilliant. So Shorty's getting bullied, but the class doesn't really rock with her, so they don't take her side. The MC wants to come up with a psychological way to get the class to take the Shorty's side against the bullying, which leads to him training Tama the same way Aoi trained him in season 1. Full circle. He uses lessons that he previously learned, but also brings in other classmates to add to his library of knowledge to create Tama 2.0. The way the dots connect is a masterclass. Take's charisma is a big point in this half of the arc, but it was foreshadowed in the first half. The foreshadowing scene also foreshadowed Tama's friction with the class. Small things like that happen all over the season. Once Tama's development is finished, we enter the final stage. Before Tama has a chance to use her new skills, Aoi interrupts by hatching her diabolical plan. But Tama is able to dissolve the tension with her newfound charisma and create an even better outcome. It's a masterpiece. The season puts together unexpected character pairs, and because of how well written each character is, it's so much fun to watch. There's Tama and Mizu, Tama and Kikuchi, and Tama and Take in the first arc. The characters in this arc were used phenomenally. Mizusawa is able to add in psychological tips that Tomo doesn't know. Take is able to help Tama improve her cheerful speech. Mimi taught Tama comedy routines, which took advantage of the vulnerability that Mizu brought up. Kikuchi is used as a neutral party that Tama can practice with. This anime is Psych 101 with all the psychological tips and tricks they teach and apply throughout the season. I'll go over the ones that stood out to me. Take notes. The way Konno was manipulated was a psychological masterclass. Mizu brings up the concept of consistent vulnerability, which allows people to become charming. Aoi and Take have it, and Tomo works on teaching Tama how to take advantage of hers, which is her shortness. Tomo brings back the strategy of recording yourself to practice your speech. Tomozaki also comes up with the idea of using pre-written comedy routines to make others laugh and increase your charisma. In episode 8, Mizu gives his course on flirting. He brings up how to put people in listening mode when starting a conversation, and how touching something that they have is an easy way to elicit a response. He also explains his theory of attraction. Part of what makes a guy attractive is his ability to attract other girls. This will cause girls to feel like they have to act fast before someone else steals him. Flirting also allows him to boost his attractiveness to get the girl he actually wants. He calls this a hotness spiral. What's even crazier is that Tomozaki unintentionally uses this too. All of the different female friends he's made cause one of his female friends to start feeling jealous and eventually confess. Projecting is another psych concept that is used. This is defined as a phenomenon where feelings directed towards the self are put on other people. It wasn't explicitly mentioned, but I'm 99% sure that's what the author was going for. Big spoiler alert, but in the second arc of the season, Mimi confesses to Tomozaki. If you pay attention, throughout season 1 and 2, she keeps making jokes about Tomo confessing to her. He'd start a conversation with her, and she would make a joke by asking if he was confessing. She did that in this season too. In episode 1, she asked if Tomo was asking her for romance advice. To my knowledge, she only does that bit with him. But she also took it a step further when she jokingly called their routine husband and wife in episode 8. This is indirect communication, or subtext. There's an underlying meaning behind what she's saying. There's also another thing that she's doing. I don't know if there's a psych term for it, but she's throwing out the idea as bait. If he takes the bait, she can say that she was serious, but if he doesn't, she can hide behind the joke. There's evidence for this in episode 10. After she already confessed, she said that she was thinking they should do a married couple routine, which is what she joked about in episode 8, pre-confession. She used all kinds of tricks this season. The music is great. Opening check. Ending check. OST check. Insert song check. That's a 4-peat. The comedy is on point as well. The distinct personalities of the characters mingle so fantastically and provide endless entertainment that I got upset when episodes ended. Each character in the story, that is our classroom, has their own worries, their own growth, their own faults. There's not a person alive who is truly thinking nothing at all." End quote. This is what Kikuchi says to Tama in episode 3, and is a wonderful representation of the story. This season was like blue meth, thanks to the author's deep understanding of how his characters think. Each person has multiple consistent traits that dictate how they interact with others. In conclusion, the great character writing, great plot, and psychological depth of this season make it my favorite anime of winter 2024.